The newly crowned film emperor called me. I instinctively called him by his nickname, Lee Strong. Unexpectedly, he only replied after a long pause, I'm live streaming, call me by my full name. I'm furious. The netizens also went wild. Lee Heron won an award, the newly crowned best actor. I was curled up on the sofa, eating fruit and scrolling through Weibo. Hashtag youngest best actor hashtag Lee Heron newly crowned best actor hashtag Lee Heron's acting skills hashtag Lee Heron's waist hashtag Lee Heron, you are my god the awards won yesterday are still trending on Hot Search today. I looked at those trending topics and felt a surge of emotions. Lee Heron and I grew up together, like brothers who shared the same pair of pants. He is the newly crowned film emperor and the nation's husband, and I am just an obscure, low-tier celebrity. Just as I was feeling deeply moved, I received a call from Lee Heron. I answered the phone and, as usual, called him by his nickname, Lee Strong. You've made it big, movie star now. On the other end of the line, Lee Heron remained silent. I continued, hello, Strong, why aren't you saying anything? Could the signal be bad? I said. Lee Heron, can you hear me? Still no response, so I was about to hang up the phone. Lee Heron's voice suddenly came through the phone, Shin Kan, I'm live streaming, call me by my full name. Me, frightened, I quickly hung up the call with a beep. I'm done for. I struggled to get up from the sofa, casually tossed the apple onto the coffee table, and opened Weibo. Find Lee Heron's current live stream. As soon as I entered, I was shocked by the rapidly updating comments. Ha. So the movie emperor's nickname is Strong. I smell a juicy piece of gossip. Could it be a romance? Lee Strong. Ha. Shin Kan. Who's that? Does anyone know? Never heard of them. Probably an outsider. The host and the other actors in the video clearly couldn't hold back any longer. They were either sneaking laughs or openly chuckling. Only Lee Heron looked calm, staring straight ahead, as if Strong wasn't him. Fortunately, the host was skilled and quickly shifted the topic to the next segment, but the bullet comments didn't change at all because of this. Still passionately discussing, I watched the bullet comments and slowly calmed down. You see, being obscure has its advantages too. No one even knows who I am. Ha. I happily exited the live stream, picked up the apple one hadn't finished nibbling on earlier, and continued to leisurely dawdle. Not only was I no longer worried, but I even felt a bit happy. Lee Strong, let's see how you handle this. After this incident, I slept exceptionally soundly that night. I even dreamed of the scene where Lee Heron was surrounded by people calling him Lee Strong. I stood to the side, waiting to deliver the final blow. However, beautiful dreams never seem to reach their endings. I hadn't even gotten up to finish the job when my agent's call woke me up. Shin Kan, how come you didn't tell me you know Lee Heron? I instinctively denied it. I don't know him. Sister Chen, stop pretending. Lee Heron already posted on Weibo. Chen Jie's words woke me up from my daze. I quickly opened Weibo. The top trending topic was right there. Hashtag Shin Kan and Lee Heron childhood friends hashtag Lee Heron's nickname is actually Strong hashtag Lee Strong hashtag Shin Kan hashtag what's it like having a childhood friend who's a film emperor hashtag. I clicked in to take a look and saw that it was a Weibo post Lee Heron had sent early this morning. The one who called yesterday was my childhood friend. At Shin Kan, I was stunned. Based on my understanding of Lee Strong, revenge. This dog man is definitely seeking revenge. Just as I was seething with anger, Chen Jie's excited voice came again. Shin Kan, you're going to blow up. I tried to calm Chen Jie down. Chen Jie, it's not that easy to ride on the coattails of a top-tier celebrity. It's easy to get criticized. I don't think Sister Chen listened to me at all because Sister Chen kept excitedly rambling. You know what? A director just contacted me. Sister Chen, before I could finish, Sister Chen screamed again. Shin Kan, someone's calling again, probably about a collaboration. I'm hanging up first. I stared at the phone that had just been hung up, anger surging in my heart. Deciding to confront Lee Strong, I dialed Lee Heron's phone, and it was answered almost instantly. What's wrong, Lee Strong? Answering so quickly, were you waiting for my call? You're actually right. Listening to his calm tone made me angry. Lee Strong, you did that on purpose on Weibo. No, it was just a normal explanation. If you wanted to explain, why did you have to mention me? Lee Heron explained half-heartedly. Grandpa said the other day that I should take you under my wing more. What a perfunctory excuse. Why didn't you take me under your wing before? Lee Strong, if you really listened to Grandpa Lee, you wouldn't have come here to act. The thought of being devoured by Lee Heron's massive fanbase of female fans made me feel a wave of frustration. If your fans eat me, you just wait. Lee Heron's tone actually sounded a bit excited. What? Are you planning to eat me too? I tried to threaten, I'll skin you alive, and then eat me. The most important thing in an argument is the momentum. That's right. I'm a small-time nobody with barely any followers on Weibo. Apart from occasionally posting promotional photos, I rarely ever log in. When I logged into Weibo, my followers had increased more than my original followers, and there were also many private messages and comments. While mentally cursing Lee Strong, I shakily opened the comments. Wow, sis actually grew up with Lee Heron. So jealous that sis gets to be childhood friends with the award-winning actor. Sis is so beautiful. Let's get close. Pretty girl. Sister, do you have any more materials about the Shadow Emperor brother? Sister, do you have any childhood photos of our husband? Want to see? +10086. Of course, there were also some negative comments mixed in, which I chose to ignore. This result was truly unexpected. At least not all of them were criticizing me. What surprised me even more was yet to come. Chen Jie got me a spot on a variety show. It's a lifestyle variety show called Me and My Friends, launched by a renowned director in the industry. The main concept is to invite several groups of friends from the industry to play games, eat, drink, and casually chat about friendship. In a lifestyle-oriented program, and because of the previous commotion, I managed to catch the director's eye. No, to be more precise, the director chose Lee Heron and I was just the add-on. The thought of recording a variety show with Lee Strong was something I refused to consider. When I saw the zeros after the announcement fee, well, how should I put it? It's not about the money for me. It's mainly to experience the warmth of friendship. The day after the variety show was officially announced, it sparked a lot of discussion among netizens. This is Lee Heron's first variety show, naturally attracting the attention of many fans. The agents from both sides have privately discussed it. We can post some childhood photos of each other to maintain the buzz. I'm a bit reluctant to post it, and while I'm still hesitating about how to decline, Lee Strong updated his Weibo first. He reposted the official blog, then attached several photos of the two of us together, with the caption, "Us." There's a photo from when we were 1 year old, sitting squeezed together on a bench, holding hands. There's a birthday photo of me wearing a birthday hat, hugging Lee Strong with a big laugh. There's a candid photo of the two of us in middle school, wearing our school uniforms and roughhousing, captured by Aunt Han. I actually saw a photo of my brother when he was little. Childhood sweethearts. Brother really has been handsome since he was a child. Ah, is that soft? Adorable little cutie, really our brother. The two of them standing together are truly a delight to the eyes. They really are a perfect match, aren't they? Don't bump around. I'm so looking forward to this show. Manually tagging director Tang to start recording soon. Before the official recording began, Lee Strong returned. At that moment, I was sitting on the sofa admiring my appearance. Lee Strong glanced at me while carrying his luggage. How impressive. I rolled my eyes at him and pretended not to hear. Give me my gift. Lee Strong handed me the gift in his hand. You're coming with me for tomorrow's pre-interview and shoot. I lowered my head to unwrap the gift, responding half-heartedly, but Sister Chen said a few days ago that she would send a car to pick me up. I've already called her. She's going straight to the studio tomorrow. Oh, okay. Lee Strong and I were arranged to share a makeup room. While I was still dawdling over my makeup, Lee Heron was already fully prepared. I casually complimented Lee Strong as he stepped out in his formal attire. You look quite handsome, Lee Strong. As soon as I finished speaking, many people burst out laughing. The makeup artist who was working on me was laughing so hard that her hands were shaking. Oops, I got used to saying it. I quickly corrected myself. Lee Heron. Lee Strong's expression remained normal, showing no reaction. It was Sister Chen, who was sitting on the sofa, who suddenly stood up upon hearing this, her face serious as she rushed over to warn me, "Don't let it slip out when we're recording the show later." Understood. I saw Lee Strong smirking in the mirror. After finishing the promotional photo shoot, we had a pre-interview. The host asked us a few simple questions. Most of them are things from childhood. Lee Strong didn't talk much, so to liven up the atmosphere, I occasionally joked around with the host, and we ended up having a really fun recording session. Towards the end, the host took the initiative to cue us for a compatibility test. The results were quite unexpected. Lee Strong answered every question exactly the same way I did. The host was so startled that he kept talking off camera. We didn't leak the questions. Really, we didn't. The interview was published that very afternoon. The view count and readership skyrocketed. Lee Heron's praise squad is online. Brother looks so cool leaning on the sofa. Husband is so handsome. Among all these flattering comments, one remark stands out particularly. Doesn't anyone think Lee Heron's gaze at Shin Ken is quite Ambiguous. Immediately, many people responded below. Li Heron's eyes are always fixed on Shin Kan. Li Heron's gaze at Shin Kan really seems a bit indulgent. I also feel that the atmosphere between them is very subtle. Look at them unconsciously looking at each other. It's really sweet. Okay. 2 weeks later, the variety show officially began recording. The original positioning of this variety show was a slow-paced life show, focusing on a healing style. Lee Strong and I were the youngest pair in the group, and the seniors took great care of us, making the recording of this program very comfortable. On the first day, the director prepared a barbecue for us. Everyone gathered on the open balcony, enjoying skewers and drinks together, which was very pleasant. As we ate, everyone spontaneously started discussing various topics. The first time we all met, our youthful years. Singer Chen Tang and Chen Zhongwei talk about how they first met. They talk about forming a band together, staying up late rehearsing together, living in a basement together, and rushing from gig to gig together. Host Tang Ming and actor Lu Hua talk about their friendship of over 20 years. Dancer Tang Yun told the actors about their college life back in the day. By the end, everyone was hugging and shedding tears. I was deeply moved listening to it live. The bullet comments also praised divine friendship throughout the entire journey. Only Lee Strong and I remained silent. There really wasn't much to say between us. We've known each other since we can remember. There were no heart-pounding encounters, just some chaotic everyday moments. A famous director then actively cued the two of us. Heron, Can, why don't you two say something too? Seeing everyone's eyes fall on us, Lee Strong spoke up. Our families are neighbors, so we grew up together since childhood. Barrage, childhood sweethearts. Why don't I have such a handsome childhood friend? They are the most beautiful childhood friends I've ever seen. I have a body type that easily attracts mosquitoes. The next day, when I came out with a leg full of bites, Lee Strong was working out. Seeing me come out, Lee Strong stopped. What's wrong? Didn't you sleep well? I scratched the exposed skin. It's itchy. Lee Strong walked over and pulled my arm. Let me see. After saying that, he led me back to the room, rummaged through the suitcase, and carefully applied ointment to me. I was a bit shocked. How did you even bring this, Lee? Strong gave me a sidelong glance. Don't you know your own constitution? I also brought insect repellent. Sprinkle some in your room later. At that time, I was only concerned about whether it would itch or not, completely missing the fact that the bullet screen had exploded. Am I overthinking it? That ointment is specifically for Shin Kan, isn't it? When Shin Kan said it itched, it really sounded like she was acting spoiled with her boyfriend. I don't have a childhood friend of the opposite sex. Can someone explain? Is this how childhood friends usually interact? No, it's not normal. If I were bitten like that, my childhood friend would probably be gloating by now. After applying the medicine, some people still hadn't gotten out of bed. It was clear that this was truly a relaxed and healing program, so I also lingered on the living room sofa, lost in thought. After Lee Heron finished showering, he walked into the kitchen with ease. What would you like to eat? I looked up and replied, anything is fine. Lee Strong took a few eggs out of the refrigerator and turned to urge me, stop playing with your phone and go wash up. Barrage, brother actually knows how to cook, the perfect man. Looking at Shin Kan like this, it seems he often eats the meals brother makes. The way they interact gives off such a married couple vibe. They really don't seem quite right. By the time I finished washing up, Lee Strong had almost finished making breakfast. At this point, everyone was already up. Lee Strong made a bit more, so everyone gathered around to have breakfast together. The host, Tang Ming, praised. He ran. How do you know how to do everything? Lee Strong, changing his previously serious on-screen image, joked. I have to know how to do it. If I didn't, I'd be poisoned to death. Everyone immediately became extremely curious. Poisoned to death. Lee Strong lowered his head, carefully peeling an egg. Both our parents are quite busy, so we mostly handle meals ourselves. Lee Strong placed the peeled egg into my bowl and added, ever since I ate Shin Kan's cooking as a kid and got food poisoning, ending up in the hospital, I've always cooked for myself. Everyone burst into laughter, and Lee Strong even quipped, it's more reassuring to keep your life in your own hands. The barrage of comments also heated up. Ah, what a painful realization. Ha 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 ha, god damn it, life is in our own hands. So the Shadow Emperor is the sharp-tongued. I didn't want to do it, but if I didn't, I'd be poisoned to death. Didn't you notice Lee Heron peeling an egg for Shin Kan? Suddenly, the host Tang Ming asked, Heron, it seems like you've never been involved in any gossip, right? Everyone was extremely curious, and their eyes began to focus on Lee Heron one by one. They started asking questions. Is there ever a situation where you feel a heart flutter when acting opposite an actress? Do you have someone you like now? Just when everyone thought Lee Heron would sidestep the question or brush over the topic, he suddenly said very seriously, yes, what is it? Do you have a crush or someone you like? I have someone I like. Barrage. Tang Ming really gets us, the audience. Brother has someone he likes. Brother is so honest. Are we going to have a sister-in-law? When Lee Heron said he has someone he likes, was he looking at Shin Ken? Things are starting to get strange. The show was recorded quite well. We weren't just visiting a farm to see chickens, or going to the river to experience catching fish, or perhaps going to the zoo to interact with animals. In short, everything was recorded very smoothly, but the fans were like scouts. Look, Lee Heron is stealing glances at Shin Ken again. Ah, the way my brother instinctively protected Shin Ken is so manly. Do they have to be so in sync? What are they secretly talking about? Lee Heron deliberately changed positions to block the sun for Shin Ken. I never expected things to turn out this way. I'm not sure if it's because Lee Strong and I really have CP vibes, or if it's just the marketing account stirring up the trend. For a moment, the majority of fans across the internet were shipping me with Lee Strong. I can't help but admire everyone's archaeological skills. In no time, many old videos and photos were dug up. Even a video clip of the shoot was leaked. It was the video of me shooting promotional photos with Lee Heron at the time. Comments. This atmosphere. Do you really believe they're just friends? Look at Lee Heron's gaze. Lee Heron's gaze couldn't be more obvious. Shortly after, an on-site staff member revealed, I was a staff member at the scene at the time. We've collaborated with Lee Heron many times, and he has always been polite and respectful toward women, but that day during the shoot, he kept circling around Shin Ken, even taking on the assistant's tasks. He was incredibly attentive. Leaving his own film aside, he went off to help Shin Ken pick out a film. When Shin Ken was taking photos alone, he didn't leave either. He just sat to the side, holding Shin Ken's plush toy water bottle, waiting. After the shoot, I saw with my own eyes Shin Ken getting into Lee Heron's car and leaving together. Lee Heron even carried her bag for her. Everyone, I think we can ship them. It's really sweet. There are also revelations from netizens. During this Chinese New Year, I went to watch a movie with my boyfriend and saw a guy whose back looked a lot like Lee Heron. He was in line buying milk tea for his girlfriend at the time, and I thought I must have mistaken him for someone else, but now it seems it really was them. A photo was attached as well. Comment section. It really is Lee Heron. Old fans are convinced. It's Lee Heron. Did they get together before this? Coming to the show. Is it to test our attitude? No need to test. We agree. Our high school alumni. There was a guy in our dorm who openly pursued Shin Ken back then, but within a few days, Lee Heron invited him out for a basketball game. After that, our roommate never mentioned liking Shin Ken again. You get it, right? Comment section. This must have started back in high school. Y1S1. I'm a country bumpkin and I love watching this. There are also claims that they are our neighbors. I live in the same community as the two of them. They've been inseparable since childhood. The families are very close. And my mom heard from Lee Heron's mom that she really wants Shin Ken to be her daughter-in-law. Many netizens followed up with questions. Really, is that true? Yes, it's true. Shin Ken's parents often travel for work, and whenever they do, Shin Ken stays at Lee Heron's house. We all know this. Since the hot search appeared, things have started to get a bit out of control. The day after the hot search, Lee Strong and I hadn't even made an appearance yet. The bullet comments had already begun. Yo, family, come watch the dating show. Oh, everyone's here to watch. People fall in love too. Tell me, why are couples going on a friend's show? Aren't boyfriends and girlfriends also friends? The barrage comments have gone into full-on shipping mode. Lee Strong helps me wash the vegetables, and the bullet comments say, they are just too in love. I deliberately avoid suspicion with Lee Strong, and the bullet comments say, they are so sweet. Lee Strong and I accidentally make eye contact, and the bullet comments say, there's definitely something going on between them. Lee Strong hands me a tissue, and the bullet comments all say, this isn't just a tissue, it's clearly our brother's heart. I was stunned. Everyone was happily shipping the couple, and even after our variety show ended, people were still searching for sweetness online until a netizen asked, has anyone thought about why, if they like each other so much, they haven't gotten together yet? This question suddenly stumped everyone. Yeah, spending every day together and liking each other, why aren't you together? So why exactly? Just as everyone was extremely puzzled, a new trending topic emerged. It was my alternate account. Teeling Shongda. I built it 3 years ago when Lee Strong was first selected by the director to film his debut movie. He went through a period of being mocked and criticized by the entire internet, a non-professionally trained actor. Yet his first film was a collaboration with a renowned director. He still managed to edge out many male stars and landed the lead role. Additionally, a popular male star at the time kept hinting that his role had been stolen. For a while, Lee Heron seemed to become the target of public criticism. Anyone could step up to curse him or kick him while he was down, threatened, had a photo mocked up as a memorial. Not a single positive comment can be found in the Weibo comment section. Looking so handsome, must be kept by some big boss. Huh, attention-stealing dog, disgusting. Such a handsome face, what a shame. Who knows what underhanded methods he used to snatch the male lead role. Truly shameless. The private messages were even more offensive, each one more disgusting than the last. In an entertainment industry where even high academic qualifications are deliberately flaunted as selling points, Lee Strong's high academic qualifications suddenly became a stain, and a university graduate coming out to act in films. I feel ashamed for a university. What acting? It's just selling themselves. That was the first time I realized the terror of cyberbullying. Those keyboard warriors hiding behind their computer screens. They don't even need to consider the truthfulness of the information before they start typing to angrily curse and condemn someone they don't even know. They don't care at all about how much harm their casually typed words cause to others, because at the very moment they lightly tap their keyboards, they considered themselves guardians of justice. They saw themselves as rule makers looking down upon the masses from atop the clouds. What was most infuriating was that Lee Strong had already joined the training camp at that time. Surprisingly, there were quite a few bored black fans who went to his workplace to wait and curse at him. At that time, there was a video online with a high number of views. Lee Strong had just finished his special training and walked out wearing a hoodie. Someone stood far away, holding up a sign to insult him. The sign read, "Stage-stealing dog, won't live long." Fortunately, there was security at the training site, so those people weren't able to rush forward. In the video, Lee Strong clearly froze for a moment, then pulled the hood of his jacket over his head, stuffed his hands into his pockets, and walked away. The key point is that all the comments below were satisfying. Serves you right. I cried all night holding my phone that evening. Early the next morning, I booked a ticket and rushed over to see him that day. I waited outside for a long time before he finally came out, looking disheveled and covered in dust, smiling as soon as he saw me from afar. As he approached, the first thing I noticed was the bruise on his chin. I turned his face away from where he was trying to avoid looking. "What happened to your chin?" Lee Strong said nonchalantly. "I just bumped it by accident." "Why are you here?" As he spoke, he reached out to shield me from the sun and led me to the side. "It's so hot, standing outside like that. Are you stupid or something? Since it's so hot, why are you wearing a jacket?" A wave of sour emotion welled up in my heart. Afraid he might feel uncomfortable, I forced myself to pretend I knew nothing. "Aunt Han asked me to bring you something." Lee Strong took the things I brought him, not even glancing at them, and just stared at me, grinning nonstop. I felt a bit embarrassed under his gaze. "You're really silly when you laugh." Lee Strong didn't let go of my hand. "Yeah, I'm silly." Neither of us brought up the online storm. Instead, we found a shady spot, sat down on the ground facing each other, and had lunch, chatting idly. We went on for quite a while. I casually brought up, "Lee Strong, you have no idea, while you were away, Xiaomi has almost turned into a pig. This is the first time you've been away from home for so long. When you come back, Xiaomi might not even recognize you." Lee Strong did not respond to me. I turned my head and saw that he was leaning back against the wall, asleep. There were deep dark circles under his eyes. I carefully lifted his shirt as expected. Large and small bruises covered my body. I couldn't hold back my emotions for a moment, and tears streamed down like broken strings. So that night, I created this small account. I didn't know what I could do, so I started arguing with some trolls online every day. At first, I was outnumbered and often found myself being swarmed by haters or rival fans right after expressing my opinions. From then on, unpleasant private messages never stopped coming. There were too many anti-fans, and I couldn't outshout them. I often ended up crying under the covers late at night, overwhelmed with anger. After crying, I would get up and continue to confront the haters, and so, this battle lasted for a long time. My name, Teeling Xiong, became famous among the opposing fans for a while until a behind-the-scenes clip of Lee Strong was leaked. With outstanding acting skills and clean, sharp fight scenes, he successfully gained his first batch of fans. So when I saw other Netizens fighting against the black fans in the comment section. My excitement at that moment was no less than winning the lottery later. Lee Strong's movie officially premiered and received rave reviews. That movie has consistently ranked among the top 3 at the domestic box office to this day. It also gained a large number of fans as a result. It's not an exaggeration to say that Lee Heron became an overnight sensation. Since Lee Strong became popular, it seems like all the haters have suddenly disappeared. The entire internet has started praising Lee Heron's acting skills, praising the director for their casting choices, praising Lee Heron as a divine beauty, a period drama heartthrob with no bad angles from any perspective, praising Lee Heron for his high academic qualifications, truly worthy of being from University A. Top students excel no matter what industry they pursue. The number of comments under the trending topic continues to rise. Wow, Bear 2 is actually Shin Kan, the one who's always joking around with us in the fan group is Shin Kan. At first, it was just Shin Kan fighting alone. My heart aches for my brother, and for Shin Kan. These two are clearly heading toward each other. I'm obsessed. What kind of divine love is this? I've turned into a fan, a CP fan. Indeed, childhood sweethearts make the best romance. I think I'm starting to believe in love again. Later, a comment was pushed to the top. So is this why they aren't together? Sis-in-law, don't worry, we're die-hard fans of you and brother. If I still don't understand why it's trending by now, I've really wasted these 20+ years knowing Lee Strong. If I'm not mistaken, the situation has escalated to this point, and it's definitely Lee Strong stirring things up behind the scenes, or I could say, this trending topic was bought by Lee Strong. He's using this method to steer public opinion, let fans accept me naturally. The result is clear. He succeeded. The private messages and notifications on my phone haven't stopped. The fan group is also in an uproar. Everyone is tagging me online, urging me to get together with their brother as soon as possible. They no longer call me Bear 2 and have started calling me sister-in-law. Sister-in-law, I declare you are one and only sister-in-law. I'm still hesitating about how to respond to them. It was actually a WeChat voice call that suddenly popped up, startling me. It was from I am your father. As soon as I tapped to answer, an irate voice blared out, Teeling, you're actually Shin Kan. I felt a bit guilty and let out a nervous laugh. Haha, hello, Dad, how have you been lately? Don't you dare change the subject. Back then, I used to stay up late every day with you to battle Blackie, and I thought I had found a kindred spirit, so all along, it was all for your boyfriend. I'm such a fool. Do you even feel guilty? Shin Teeling, this matter. It's truly that I wasn't open enough. I didn't tell your dad about my relationship with Lee Strong in advance, but at that time, Lee Strong and I were absolutely innocent. I softly interrupted her words. No, your dad roared angrily. What do you mean he's not? Don't even think about trying to argue with me. I opened my mouth to explain. He's not my boyfriend. Who knew that after hearing this, your dad became even more furious? He's still not your boyfriend. How can you be so useless, unable to even secure a man? I was shocked. If you can't handle Lee Heron, you're done for. The man I can't get. You must get him for me. After saying that, your father cut the call with a beep, leaving me standing there in a daze. Just as I was still processing it, your dad sent me a video. Shin Kan, quickly watch the interview video I sent you. I clicked on the video. It was Lee Strong, likely from the morning interview. Even though he was surrounded by a group of reporters, he remained composed and dignified. A reporter asked, in a previous interview, you mentioned that if you were in a relationship, you would make it public. Is that statement true? Yes. Suddenly, another reporter asked the question everyone was eager to know. So, are you and Shin Kan together? Instantly, the previously noisy reporters fell completely silent. Everyone was waiting for his answer. Lee Strong smiled and shook his head. Not yet. The reporters were very sensitive, and immediately one asked, what does not yet mean? Lee Strong stared into the camera and said word by word, it depends on when she's willing to give me a title. The reporter asked many more questions afterwards, but I didn't hear a single word. I suddenly realized it was never Lee Strong who was afraid of this relationship. It was me. It was me who kept using the excuse of doing what's best for Lee Strong. I refused to face the feelings between us. What I was hiding was nothing more than my fear that, once the relationship was exposed, I might once again face the situation of being blacklisted across the entire internet. I have to admit that the experience of Lee Strong being blacklisted, and the days of fighting against the haters back then, have left a shadow in my heart. Thinking of this, I suddenly sat up in bed, hurriedly changed my clothes, and rushed outside. As soon as I opened the door, I bumped right into Lee Strong. He was still wearing the clothes from the interview, holding a bag of spicy crayfish. Seeing me rush out without a care, he was a bit surprised. "Where are you going?" I'm going to confess my feelings to you. Just moments ago, I was full of bravado, but now that I actually saw Lee Strong standing in front of me, I instantly became a stutterer. I'm hungry." Lee Strong smiled, took my hand, and led me to the flower bed where we used to secretly eat takeout. I let him hold my hand, feeling the warmth from his palm. The two of us sat down in our usual spot, and Lee Strong lowered his head, peeling shrimp for me as he always did. I looked at the ever-growing pile of shrimp meat in front of me. "That's enough." Lee Strong stopped what he was doing, glanced up at me, and gestured for me to eat while taking off his gloves. The disposable gloves came off, revealing his hands that fans had raved about. Lee Strong's hands had always been so beautiful, long and fair, with distinct knuckles now stained with red sauce, but I feel like these hands are even more heart-stopping than before. Lee Strong reached out to grab a tissue, but I was one step ahead and took the tissue first. Under Lee Strong's gaze, I pulled his hand over and carefully wiped the sauce off his hand. I wiped carefully, and Lee Strong extended his hand, letting me wipe it for a long time. Only when I felt my face wasn't so hot did I let go of his hand, as if nothing had happened. No sooner had I let go than his hand was immediately gripped again. I instinctively looked up at Lee Strong, and what met my eyes was his intense gaze and his ears turning red. I saw him, and I saw myself. The atmosphere became somewhat ambiguous for a moment. Just as I thought Lee Strong would confess, he suddenly started talking about something else. "When I decided to go into filmmaking, Grandpa almost beat me to death. Do you remember?" At this, I recalled Lee Strong's miserable state back then. I nodded and laughed. "Remember, you had to sleep on your stomach for over a week back then." Lee Strong seemed to recall something too and laughed. "Yeah, I was already in pain, and you, heartless as ever, came to laugh at me every day, even though I was beaten like that." "I still have no regrets." Lee Strong's expression suddenly turned serious. "Later, when I was being attacked online, I still didn't regret it. That period of being targeted seemed like a forbidden topic, and we both tacitly avoided discussing it. The first time I felt regret was during the special training period, when you came to see me." I heard my own voice trembling slightly. "Why?" Lee Strong tightened his grip on my hand, his voice momentarily hoarse. "That day, I wasn't asleep." For a moment, I stood frozen in place. "Shin-kan, I chose to become an actor. I haven't let anyone down, only you. I was too arrogant back then. I thought I could handle my work while having a normal relationship with you. When so much negative criticism came pouring in, I realized for the first time how useless I truly was. It was only then that I realized, if you were with me, we would have to avoid the public eye, but you clearly love being in the midst of a lively crowd." I could feel Lee Strong's emotions fluctuating wildly. So I reached out and took his other hand. Lee Strong calmed me down and continued, "I know what you've always been afraid of, but that situation won't happen again." I felt tears welling up in my eyes, and I sniffled. "But you don't have any flowers." Lee Strong wiped away my tears. "We'll go buy some now." Instead of taking me to a nearby flower shop, Lee Strong drove straight to a nearby square. Lee Strong parked the car and walked around to the passenger side to open the door. Although it was already quite late, there were still many people in the square. The place was filled with energetic young people. Sure enough, there was a young lady selling flowers in the corner. A couple and two girls surrounded us. Lee Strong led me in that direction. As we approached, one of the girls turned around and saw us, her eyes widening in surprise. Her gaze flitted between Lee Strong and me, finally resting on our clasped hands. The girl excitedly hopped in place, then gave her companion, who was busy picking flowers with her head down, a firm pat. "So cute." I smiled at her. She opened her mouth to speak but then closed it, giving us a small wave instead. Lee Strong took my hand and led me through the crowd. "Hello, how much are the flowers?" Following the sound, the four people buying flowers around us all turned to look in our direction. After everyone got a clear look at Lee Strong's face, they began to whisper among themselves, yet no one stepped forward to disturb us. Under everyone's gaze, Lee Strong picked a bouquet of roses and then turned to hand it to me. Just as we were about to leave, the girl beside us suddenly whispered, "I wish you happiness." Lee Strong said to the girl, "Thank you." Then everyone began to bless us. "I really like you both. You must stay together well." I was busy thanking everyone and didn't notice Lee Strong scanning the payment code again. Suddenly, Lee Strong spoke softly to the crowd, "I've already paid. You can each choose a bouquet. Thank you for your blessings." Under everyone's gaze, I took Lee Strong's hand and said, "Thank you, we're leaving now. Goodbye." Before we had gone far, I heard a girl behind us exclaiming excitedly, "Ah, I got flowers from my idol." Another girl praised, "He's really so handsome." Following that, a boy said with a strong hint of jealousy, "What's so handsome about him?" The girl teased, "What? Are you jealous? It's great, everyone is so happy." I turned around and teased Lee Strong, "If the young couple argues because of you'll be in big trouble." Lee Strong suddenly wrapped his arm around my waist, pulling me into his embrace, and leaned down close to me. "I don't think I have that kind of ability." Looking at the suddenly magnified handsome face, "Do you have some misunderstanding about your own face?" Lee Strong laughed, a particularly bright smile. "I mean, since I'm already taken, I probably don't have that kind of charm anymore." "That's true." I held the flowers, watching Lee Strong in the distance as he bought roasted sweet potatoes for me. The vendor might be a bit older and hard of hearing. As Lee Strong was leaning down to talk to them, it felt like my thoughts suddenly drifted back to high school. Even though Lee Strong was an impatient teenager back then, he would still run several streets to catch up with a sweet potato vendor just because I said I wanted one. Then, holding a roasted sweet potato, he would run toward me, sweating and beaming as if he were carrying a trophy. He is now more patient and gentle than he was back then. He responds passionately to my affection, yet also tolerates my cowardice in matters of the heart. Coming back to my senses, Lee Strong had already finished selling his roasted sweet potatoes and was heading back. I ran 2 steps and threw myself into his arms. "Let's go, boyfriend, let's go home." To have grown up with Lee Strong, how fortunate I am. Little extra. I calculated that Lee Strong should be busy filming and wouldn't have time to check his phone, so I timed my message deliberately. "I'm afraid I won't make it through this day. Just waiting for your message is enough to frustrate me. This must be because some sister has held you back again, to the point where you're ignoring people like this. Could it be that brother finds me uninteresting? And today seeing someone else so wonderful truly hurts the heart. You have other sisters who are better at chatting, better at being cute, and better at making you happy than I am. I always thought of you as a confidant, but it turns out you're not just my confidant." Lee Strong indeed didn't reply to my message. Just thinking about the helpless expression on his face when he finishes filming and sees my message makes me happy. Half asleep, I suddenly felt an extra person in bed. I groggily opened my eyes. It was Lee Strong. I was pleasantly surprised. "How come you're back? I thought you had a full schedule today." Lee Strong sat by the bed, wiping his hair as he replied, "I lied to you. I was going to surprise you, but you surprised me first." After sleeping, I had completely forgotten about the previous message. "What surprise?" Lee Strong suddenly leaned close to me, bare-chested, with a flirtatious tone. "What do you think, little sister?" I buried my head under the blanket. "Aw, what little sister? How embarrassing." Lee Strong lifted the blanket and lay down, wrapping his arms around me. "Weren't you quite lively on WeChat? Now, say it out loud for me to hear." At this point, a hint of grievance crept into Lee Strong's tone. "Ever since elementary school, I haven't heard you call me brother again," I retorted. "What you're talking about isn't a brother at all." Lee Strong paid no mind to this, pulling me out from under the covers, his hands beginning to wander restlessly around my waist. "Translate each sentence back to me from the messages I sent earlier. There are no other sisters, only you. I don't think you're boring. There are no other sisters to chat with me. Also, we're not confidants, we are." Later on, I can't remember how many times I blushed and called him brother, brother, brother zhuang zhuang. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.